The Anunnaki were blue-skinned and white and black and looked like reptilians. They had slave workers called the Igigi, and they were from another planet. The Anunnaki created humans and accidentally made giants. Those giants built the pyramids. The Atlanteans were on the moon and had many fights with the Anunnaki. The alien Anunnaki gods had stargates and could go anywhere they wanted. They also made humans all look different around the world. For example, that's why white people don't look the same as Chinese. Of course, Noah's Ark was a spaceship. Any bad researcher will tell you that. Hang on a minute. I've just told you a lot of rubbish. All these theories are from bad researchers. Even normal people on TikTok make videos like this. They get way more views and shares than my videos, which show evidence. If you actually want the evidence instead of people just talking and making up stuff, visit our truehistory.co.uk. The difference between me and anyone else out there, I show the evidence, they just talk.
Who do you trust? Mainstream, where they say that Homo sapiens moved to Iraq around 45,000 years ago, or do you believe the tablets that told us about the asteroid belt that we only found out about 200 years ago, but they knew 100,000 years ago that they bred with the Anunnaki, bred with Homo sapiens to create Homo sapiens sapiens in Iraq? So that was 100,000 years ago. So who do you trust? The ancient tablets that tell us stuff that we didn't even know, or mainstream? Let's have a look at mainstream now. So mainstream, oops, scientists may have got miscalculated the global warming timeline. Oops, scientists have no idea really about carbon dating. They don't know whether it's correct or not. Oops, the scientists say that the solid core of the Earth is solid. Oops, it's not that solid after all. So what do you go with? The ancient tablets that tell us stuff that we didn't even know about, or scientists that keep getting things wrong? Follow me, it's a lot easier than listening to mainstream. Breaking news, new articles saying that humans spoke earlier than previously thought. That means mainstream's thick again because they keep giving us dates and then telling us that those dates are wrong. So they originally thought it was 200,000 years ago. I will tell you with evidence it was 100,000 years ago in a sec. But now they're saying it's 1.6 million years ago that we started to speak verbally. So in the Columbia University, they have some ancient tablets, cuneiform tablets. Listen to this. This is a translation of that.
She named the boy Adapa, the foundling,
That's
and the
Adam,
girl Titi,
and that's
one
Eve.
with life. Unlike all the other terrestrial children before them, this pair grew up more slowly than humans, but they understood much more quickly. Because of their intelligence, they could speak with words.
There you go. So that's the first time people spoke. So these were the children of Enki and two human women, which made Adam and Eve demigods. The world's first children's picture book based on our true history. In other words, the god, their Anunnaki, alien race, with evidence. So next time your children have been shown these kind of books where there's zero evidence and they basically make up stuff, this one actually has the evidence. So at the bottom of each page, it gives you a description of where the evidence is, so children can go and find it. Proper evidence, as you know, I don't mess around. So I will let you guys know when this book's out, and I'm very excited for it. The world's oldest flat earth map. Now this is a Sumerian map, and this circle here is water. And here in the British Museum, that's where it is, it says map of the world. So now flat earthers are going to say, there you go, see, it's got water all the way around it. However, it's actually not the whole world. This here is Euphrates, is Tigris, as it says. So here, now the reason why they do that is the Anunnaki who done these maps actually just put a circle around absolutely everything that they did. So this is actually the Middle East. Or Mesopotamia more precisely. So so flat earthers, if you see a map that has a circle and maybe water around the outside, it doesn't actually mean there is water outside, because obviously we know the Middle East, Iraq, etc. doesn't have a circle of water. So that's where the maps come from. They make them in circles. This gentleman's been saying that Anunnaki are not real, etc. So this person said that we are from a great ape and Neanderthal. And I said, okay, show me the great ape. And of course he couldn't. So he ended up showing me that chimpanzees have the same DNA as us. And then I said, well, so does fruit flies, bananas and rats. So then this person's basically come back and said that it's called chimpanzee for the second time. We evolved from them 6 to 7 million years ago. So did Neanderthals. Yes, they did. However, Homo sapiens didn't, which is the whole point why we were genetically created by the Anunnaki 300,000 years ago, not millions of years ago. So there's no Homo sapiens back 6.7 million years ago. And we didn't... The problem is there's a missing link, and I keep trying to explain this to this person. There's a missing link, which obviously this person doesn't understand. So, I don't know, I give up sometimes. I think schools need to reteach people things better. Please bear with me on this, you'll find this interesting. So these are Sumerian glyphs. Mainstream say that these glyphs were about 8,000 BC. Now, Sumerians actually had proper writing style. Now, mainstream say that this came along around 3,500 BC. In other words, way later than this. Now, my estimate on when these were written was around 8 to 9,000 BC. And that's because this was after the flood, when the Anunnaki started teaching us things, as written in the same tablets. Now, mainstream can't say that these are that old, because obviously that then screws up all their dates. However, if you watch my videos, you see that their dates are already wrong, and I prove that every time that they keep admitting that their dates are wrong. So, could these glyphs have actually been around the same time? And the reason why I say that is because not everyone back then could learn to read or write. Now, we know that because the actual tablets tell us that they started teaching people in Sumer first, and then they moved on to 4 different territories over thousands of years. So, not everyone could read or write around the whole of the Middle East. Now, what happens if the people that couldn't read or write decided to start using the same style that they've seen, where you push something into clay, but actually just doing pictures instead? In other words, around the same time, for the people that couldn't read or write. That means then that my 8,000 to 9,000 BC would be again correct. And obviously, we know mainstream get things wrong, because here it says that they first thought that humans could talk 200,000 years ago, and now they're saying 1.6 million. That's a huge difference without any evidence whatsoever. So we know mainstream cock up. So could I be right? Now, also interestingly is the possibility that the Chinese actually got their character development from the Sumerian ones that I was just showing you. So this is very interesting as well, because obviously we know that the Chinese dragon is actually based off of the comet, which is what the original word for dragon was. So the original word for a dragon was comet, and of course the long tail and big head of a dragon in China is that of a description of a comet. Breaking news, elongated skull to do with the Vikings. 3 of them have now been found, and they're basically saying that this person would have looked like this and was buried with jewellery, etc., which means they would have been of some nobility, possibly a leader, because you don't normally get buried as well as with jewellery if you're a pauper. Now, it goes even more interesting than that, because you see the red hair that they've depicted her with. Funny enough, this here is an elongated skull in Peru. This here is an elongated skull with red hair in Peru. Now, Akhenaten also had an elongated skull. He was in Egypt. Now, there is a connection between all of them. They all seem to be in charge. Now, I do cover the elongated skulls a tiny bit in a video called Who Jesus' Real Father Was. It's on YouTube, or you can get to it from my website, ourtruehistory.co.uk. And I'll be covering the Viking woman in my upcoming 4th video on Norse gods. I did a video where I pointed out this map here, and I'm guessing this person's a flat earther, because I basically said in the end that it's not a flat earth map. Anyway, this person's wrote, did you just use the British Museum, which are responsible for the greatest deceptions? Now, I have debunked the British Museum on many videos, and you follow me, so you would know that. However, this wasn't always in the British Museum, if you care to read all the information, etc. Now, other scholars have also agreed that this is a map, and so what do you want me to do? How can I prove to you that the museum don't always lie? Yes, they do lie. I've proved that with the crystal skulls very well. In fact, if anyone's interested, it's on my Patreon page, a massive documentary proving that the Smithsonian and the British Museum both lie. But sometimes they don't always lie. Otherwise, every single thing would be a lie, and which this person's assuming every single thing they do is a lie, which isn't quite the case.
Are a black race. They look like African Americans. If you
That voice was someone I don't actually know who was saying that the alien race on one of those cigar-shaped UFOs were a black race. Now, this gentleman here who created Star Trek actually did see a cigar-shaped UFO, and actually he there's a lot to do with him and UFOs and working for the government in behalf of looking into UFOs. Anyway, after he saw this cigar-shaped UFO with windows, he then allegedly, and then he then ended up creating this, which we all know looks a bit similar to the Greys. So were they black people on that craft that this unknown voice was just waffling on about, or are they Greys? Seeing as I've been doing this for 40 years and I've never heard of anyone ever saying a race is black. So I don't know. I like to go by evidence. Unfortunately, this person's intelligence doesn't seem to be worthy of being a human. So I actually say over and over again that the first Homo sapiens, now there's a difference between humans and Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens is a subspecies of human. The first Homo sapien, I say, was black, or as it says in the tablets, red as clay. But we know over in South Africa, which is where they would have been dark-skinned. I actually say the aliens, which are the Anunnaki, are pale-skinned because when you read the tablets and their children have white hair, blue eyes, pale skin, glowing just like their fathers, then you realise that the Anunnaki, who came from a planet further away from the sun, had pale skin. So please don't come out and say stupid things without actually doing your research first. We have gone backwards, haven't we? We have gone backwards.